Let's talk about something we use literally every single day, but maybe don't think about how it came to be. We're going to dive into the incredible story of the World Wide Web, how one person's idea completely rewired our entire world. Seriously, just for a second, try to picture it. A world with no hyperlinks, no clicking from one page to another, no browsing, no searching. It's kind of hard to even imagine, right? So how on earth did we get from that disconnected past to the world we live in now?
Okay, first things first, we've got to clear something up, because this is super important. People say internet and web like they're the same thing, but they're totally not. Think of it like this. The internet is the physical roads and highways connecting everything. The World Wide Web is all the stuff on those roads, the websites, the pages, the information. It's what you actually see and use. To really appreciate just how revolutionary the web was, you have to understand what the world was like before it. So let's take a quick trip back to that disconnected digital universe.
So yeah, the internet existed, but using it? Man, it was like being dropped into a giant library, but with no card catalog, no signs, and all the books were just thrown in massive piles. Information was out there on all these different computers, but finding it and connecting it was a total nightmare. It was a playground for tech experts, not for the rest of us.
And these were the tools people had to work with. Things like Gopher or FTP. They let you find files, but you had to be a real whiz. You needed to know these complex commands and the exact address of what you wanted. And the biggest missing piece? There was no simple, intuitive way to just click and jump from one document on one computer to a related one somewhere else in the world.
But right into the middle of all this chaos steps one scientist with a vision. An idea that was so simple, and yet so powerful it would change everything.
And this is our guy, Tim Berners-Lee. It's 1989. He's a computer scientist at CERN, the huge particle physics lab in Switzerland, and he's got a really practical problem. You've got all these brilliant researchers from all over creating mountains of data, but sharing that information and linking it all together was just ridiculously hard.
So what does he do? He writes a proposal, and this quote right here, it's the heart of the whole thing. He imagined using hypertext, clickable links, to create a web of information, a single universal system where any piece of information could connect to any other, and anyone could access it.
Now, having an idea is one thing. Actually building it is a whole other story. Berners-Lee didn't just dream this up. He rolled up his sleeves and built the actual tools, and it all stood on 3 essential pillars.
And get this, in just about a year, in this incredible burst of focus, he pretty much single-handedly created the whole foundational toolkit. He didn't wait for a committee or permission, he just built it.
And this is the magic recipe, the 3 core technologies that make it all work. First, you've got HTML. That's the basic language used to make a web page. Second, HTTP. Think of that as the postal service that sends the web page from a server to your browser. And third, the URL. That's the unique street address for every single thing online. You put those 3 together, and boom, you have the World Wide Web.
And check this out, he made all the firsts happen. He coded the very first web browser, and he named it, what else? World Wide Web. He set up the first ever web server on his own computer at CERN. And then, in 1991, he launched the very first website. And the best part? The website's whole purpose was to explain what the World Wide Web was.
So he built this amazing thing in a physics lab. But how did it get from a niche project for scientists to, well, to everywhere, to everyone?
For the first couple of years, the web was still pretty much an academic curiosity. But then 1993 hit, and 2 things happened that were like pouring gasoline on a fire. The web was about to explode into the mainstream.
Okay, this is absolutely crucial. First, and maybe the most important decision in modern history, CERN announced they were making the web's technology available to anyone, royalty-free, no patents. It was a gift to humanity. And then a browser called Mosaic came out. It was the first one that made the web look good, with images right next to the text. Suddenly, the web wasn't just for nerds. It was visual, it was fun, and it was easy.
And would you just look at the explosion that happened next? This timeline tells the whole story. The first website is in '91. Just 2 years later, Mosaic launches, and the floodgates open. The very next year, you get Yahoo and Amazon. A few years after that, Google shows up to try and organize the chaos. The growth was just astronomical.
So let's bring it all home. What is the real, lasting legacy of this one idea, dreamed up in a lab more than 30 years ago?
I mean, it's not an overstatement to say it transformed literally everything. It's the foundation for how we shop, how we learn, how we work, how we talk to each other, social media, online banking, streaming movies. All of it runs on the tracks that Tim Berners-Lee laid down. It was the spark.
And for this world-changing invention, he was of course honored. He was knighted by the Queen in 2004. You'd think, okay, job done, right? But for Sir Tim Berners-Lee, the work of protecting his invention was really just beginning. He's dedicated his entire life to being the guardian of the web. He leads the World Wide Web Consortium, the W3C, which helps keep web standards open for everybody. And more recently, he started the Contract for the Web, a global movement to fight for a web that's safe, empowering, and for everyone.
And that really brings us right back to today, with a big question for all of us. Tim Berners-Lee's vision was for a universal, open web that lifts all of us up. He gave us that gift. But now that responsibility is on our shoulders. How do we make sure the web stays a tool for good, a tool for connection, and not something that divides us? That's the real challenge he left for us to solve.